Have you ever wondered about the connection between the Bible and the origin of African people? The sacred scriptures, revered across cultures and religions, hold valuable insights into the ancestry of Black and African peoples. Join us in exploring lesser-known facts and uncovering the ancestral stories of Black and African peoples, shedding light on the events after the flood. Noah's descendants. In the Bible, Noah's three sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, are considered the ancestors of all humanity. These lineages are said to be responsible for the diverse ethnic groups and nations we have today. Shem, after receiving Noah's blessing, was tasked with repopulating what would become the Middle East, often associated with Semitic peoples like the Hebrews and Arabs. On the other hand, Japheth was tasked to repopulate areas covering parts of Asia and Europe, as mentioned in Genesis 9:27. Ham, designated to repopulate the region later linked to Africa, is frequently connected to African peoples. The symbolic passing of responsibilities from Noah to his sons resulted in the earth repopulating later with a rich mix of ethnicities and cultures. The reboot began with just 8 individuals: Noah, his wife, their 3 sons, and their daughters-in-law. Today's video will center on Ham and his descendants, the African race. Ham lineage, descendants, and territories. The Bible recognizes Ham, son of Noah, as the ancestor of Black and African peoples. The Book of Psalms claims that he was the ancestor of the ancient Egyptians, which explains why his name is invariably connected to Africa. It's fascinating to notice that rabbinic traditions, historical Jewish legends, and other antiquated customs consistently recognized him as the ancestor of African peoples. Moreover, each account of Ham's children refers to African nations, continents, and populations. It is interesting to note that the word Ham itself means burned or dark in Hebrew, Aramaic, and other ancient languages, referring to the color of his ancestors' skin. More details regarding the genealogy of Ham, or the Hamite peoples, can be found in the book of Genesis, chapter 10, verses 6-14. In Ham's lineage, we encounter 4 noteworthy sons: Cush, Misraim, Put, and Canaan. These individuals played a significant role in shaping the African people we are familiar with today. Cush, Noah's grandson and Ham's eldest, is often associated with Ethiopia and Sudan. Descendants of Cush, especially Ethiopians and Nubians, are considered forefathers by the people of these regions. Additionally, various African populations, including native South Indians, Kenyans, Malians, Congolese, and Bantus from Gabon, are believed to trace their ancestry to Cush. This lineage is also linked to the ancient Nubian kingdoms, known for their remarkable artistic and historical achievements. The name Cush carries dark or black skin connotations, possibly alluding to physical attributes, such as the dark skin tone associated with African Americans. Among Cush's sons are Havilah, Sapta, Septica, Rama, Sheba, and the renowned Nimrod. Nimrod, Cush's disobedient son, is revered as the founder of the Samaritan people. Genesis 10 highlights Nimrod as the first man on earth to be a great man and a great hunter before the Lord. His empire initially included Babel, Erech, Akkad, and Calneh in Shinar. Nimrod later ventured to Assyria, where he built the cities of Nineveh, Rehoboth-ir, Calah, and Resen, situated between Nineveh and Calah. The city of Babel in particular became a significant hub in biblical history. According to the book of Genesis, under Nimrod's leadership, people decided to construct the Tower of Babel, a tower reaching the heavens. Misraim, Ham's son, is often associated with ancient Egyptians. His name, interpreted as 2 lands or 2 countries, reflects Egypt's geographical divisions of upper and lower regions. Misraim's influence extends to other parts of North Africa, contributing to the rich customs and cultures along the Nile River. Misraim, Ham's firstborn son, gave rise to numerous nations and peoples. Furthermore, Misraim was the ancestor of the Luddites, a group of people from North Africa that included the Casualites, Anamites, Lehabis, Naphtuates, and Patricids. The Philistines and Pictites trace their origins to them. In contrast, Put's connection to Africa is less clear, possibly related to the Horn of Africa. Biblical references to Put are less detailed compared to other lineages. The name Put, or Foot, is derived from a term meaning landmark and alludes to African tribal hunters, which is an intriguing curiosity. Put is regarded as the ancestor of numerous other African ethnic groups and native black Libyans. Canaan, frequently mentioned in the Bible, is associated with the Canaanites in the Middle East, not African peoples. To avoid misunderstandings in genealogy discussions and prevent unwarranted generalizations about African peoples, it's vital to acknowledge this distinction. It's critical to realize that Canaan represents a unique people and place. The Curse of Canaan. The fabled curse of Ham or Canaan, as it is written in the book of Genesis, chapter 9, was misunderstood by many people in history. According to the Bible, Noah planted a vineyard after the flood and indulged in too much wine, leading to an incident where he uncovered himself in his tent. Ham, Noah's son, informed his brothers Shem and Japheth outside the tent about their father's state of nakedness. Unlike Ham, Shem and Japheth chose to preserve their father's dignity. They draped a garment over their shoulders and averted their faces to shield their father's nakedness. The next morning, when Noah sobbed up, he learned of the incident and pronounced a curse on his grandson Canaan. Ham's son Canaan was cursed to be the lowest of his brother's slaves. Glory be to the Lord, Shem's God. May Canaan be Shem's slave. God willing, may Japheth's domain grow. May Japheth dwell in Shem's tents, and may Japheth's slave be Canaan. It's crucial to clarify two key points. Firstly, Noah's grandson Canaan was cursed, not Ham, Canaan's father. Secondly, the misinterpretation of Canaan's curse has erroneously been linked to African peoples. It's essential to understand that Noah specifically cursed Canaan to serve his brothers. This curse was directed solely at Canaan, not all of Ham's descendants or all Africans. Historical misconceptions, such as using a divine curse to justify slavery, have emerged due to this misunderstanding. It's vital to dispel this false notion and recognize that Canaan's curse was a personal penalty for him, not a punishment for an entire region or country. The argument that Canaan's curse justifies discrimination or the inferiority of any ethnic group is not supported by the Bible. To ensure a fair interpretation, one must consider the cultural and historical context of the biblical narrative, avoiding unfair generalizations about African peoples or any other ethnic group. Ham's old age and legacy. Since Ham was born before the flood, we know he lived a very long life and is the ancestor of all African and South Indian peoples. He lived considerably older than most, seeing into his family's 5th and 6th generations and lineage. It is interesting to note that, similar to Shem, Ham lived to be at least 600 years old. However, the biblical sources do not specify Ham's exact age. Therefore, it is unknown how long he lived. Like his brother, he most likely lived to be 600 years old. Although the exact location of Ham's tomb is unknown, various hypotheses and research indicate that it may lie in the Ethiopian region, or perhaps in Nubia. Some assert that he was buried in the Sumerian homeland of Mesopotamia. Nonetheless, many believe Ham's tomb is in Africa, specifically Ethiopia or Sudan. Some even go so far as to say that he might be buried in Egypt, which is highly intriguing given that Egypt is a mysterious place where bodies buried 3,000 or 4,000 years ago are still being found. The Book of Jubilees tells us more about Ham's old age and incidents surrounding Noah's family and the 3 lineages: Ham's lineage, Shem's lineage, and Japheth's lineage. According to this old Jewish document, which was accepted as authentic even in the time of Christ, Ham was utterly against his youngest son Canaan's choice to live in the land that Shem, or what is now known as Israel, had chosen. Ham disapproved of his son Canaan's attitude of claiming the territories for himself. According to the Book of Jubilees, Canaan's brothers Cush and Misraim, as well as their father Ham, were against Canaan's choice to live in the land of Shem, which is now modern-day Israel. They, like Ham, didn't agree with Canaan's attitude. They believed the African territories belonged to Ham's lineage, so they went to Canaan and commanded him to evacuate that region. However, Canaan defied his father's and brothers Misraim and Cush's wishes and stayed in that area. All Canaanite nations trace their roots back to Canaan, with the Jewish people historically subduing them, as noted in Genesis 15:20. Importantly, it's Canaan who was cursed, not the other sons of Ham, and the misconception linking this curse to black skin is unfounded. The Canaanites, descendants of Canaan, were historically subdued by the Jewish people and other nations, fulfilling Noah's curse. It's vital to clarify that African peoples are not Canaan's descendants. Unfortunately, this theological error has been wrongly used throughout church history to justify racism, the enslavement of black people, and the current state of affairs in Africa. These biblical accounts are critical to comprehending African and Middle Eastern peoples' origins, migrations, and relationships. Furthermore, they aid in understanding the spiritual and historical roots of the Abrahamic religious traditions, which continue to be vital to millions of people's faith and practices today. By spreading this knowledge, we want to encourage respect, tolerance, and awareness of African people's cultural history. Please like this video, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more intriguing content. See you soon.